So what was your first experience here at camp?
My first experience was Colony Family Camp when I was young. And so we would rent probably 6 cabins for all of us Kreiders. And I always remember Grandpa would set up the tarps over the picnic table, and he had dozens of sets of lights he would set up. So we would all gather together as a family for family colony camp.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was kind of cool because as I became a camper years later, my samplers counselor was one of the people that was at colony camp with me. And then a couple of the years later, a couple of the friends I made at camp also came to colony camp, and they're ones that I was pen pals with for years.
Oh, fun. So colony camp into kid alone summer camp,
Yes.
I'd say, non-family camps.
Yep.
So as you were a camper, what were some of your favorite activities?
I'd say anything outside and just crafts. Like, I didn't really connect with other campers. I was very shy, so I was the camper that was best friends with the counselor and might not have got to know the other campers, but anytime we did crafts, or I remember doing ice candles outside on the porch of Becker Lodge, or even just being a camper in the old W cabins that were by the auditorium. There was years that we planted trees that we were able to take home and plant at home. So on my parents' old property, we still have some of the trees that we started at camp.
Nice. So as you progressed through camp, did you go to any specialty camps? I know there were a few as you were going through.
The only specialty camps we really had when I was going through is if you did Melody, Wild, or Pitch and Pack. So I went through just the regular camps. I did Samplers, Pilgrims, Pioneers, and then ended my time with Settlers Camp.
Nice. Then you made the transition to staff.
Yeah.
What inspired you to want to come and work here?
It wasn't McDonald's. I've been working at McDonald's for 2.5 years. It wasn't a bad job, but I just enjoyed being outside and looking at the job description of just the basic summer staffer at that time before I became a lifeguard. I was already doing low ropes courses. I did challenge education in college. And just, whether it's washing dishes or making food or doing basic housekeeping, those are just basic skills that I already had. So it wasn't much of a stretch, and I could just be outside all the time. So just the draw of being around a lake, being around trails is why I started here.
Nice. So as you were a summer staffer, you got to do a lot of things. Like you mentioned, you haven't always been the lifeguard and the waterfront person. What was one of your favorite things to do as a summer staffer?
Probably night hikes. I loved leading night hikes. Even for my first year here, I got right into leading low ropes courses, helping out with nature, doing things with like the night hikes or whatever, and just being outside. So night hikes probably one of my favorite things here at camp, just because even in my first year, I was terrified of the dark. My night vision was terrible. I would constantly run into branches and trees. And so even I was learning along with the kids, and as my fear of the dark was going away, I could help them just understand more about the night.
Nice. So how many years were you on summer staff then?
So this year will be my 20th year on summer staff. I was on summer staff from 2003 through, I'm going to say 2010.
Okay.
Because 2011 is when I came back and started working full-time at Camp Mac.
Nice. So transitioning from a summer staffer to a full-time position year-round, pretty seamless transition?
There was a lot that went on right then. I did work for a camp for 6 years in Michigan, so I was able to get a lot of experience working in a health office and with outdoor education and with just different groups. So I worked with a lot of inner city. And so it's helped me understand our groups here more that aren't just, the kids who've been coming every year. And so it gets me, just the other groups that come here, to understand them better. There was a lot that happened around when I came back. I came back after the Becker fire. And I came back as a volunteer. So I took the place of someone that would have been coming from BVS. And so I volunteered for 3 years. And yeah, a lot happened then. We had the fire. That's also when Lana passed away. And so some of the things that she was doing, I started working on, like working on the counselor manuals. I was going to work in the kitchen 3 days a week, ended up not doing that at all and working full-time programs. So things change daily for a very long time.
So now as program director,
Yeah.
when many people think of what you do, they think of campfires, they think of lifeguarding. What's a part of your job that you do that most people don't realize that you do?
I do a lot of logistics. Yeah, there's a lot of behind the scenes work, whether it's risk management, a lot of communication with parents of just being proactive. So when we have a camper that's a first time camper who may be anxious, we work at setting up interviews. They can see what bunks they're going to sleep in. We can go through schedules or what might be expected of camp of walking through the day. And so there's a lot of behind the scenes work that make camp successful for campers when they come here.
Nice. Some of that. What do you do the other 9 months of the year?
It's never boring. So throughout the year, I travel to conferences to do continuing education. I'm an advanced and master naturalist, and so part of my volunteer work takes me to other parks and schools, but it allows me to gain more knowledge that I get to use here at camp. Go to different conferences, so whether it's Outdoor Ministries, Challenge Course Technology, American Camp Association, I learn a lot of things that go towards our accreditation. So the off season, I tend to do more paperwork, but we also offer tons of retreats and getaway days here at camp. So I work a lot with the cookie getaway day, with mother-daughter, father-son, the different getaway days, our snow camps, and doing all the planning of those. So camp really never slows down. Like we compare it to summer's a sprint, the rest of the year's a marathon. So it's just a different speed, but we never stop going.
So as it's springtime and recent events, we had mother-daughter retreat and we had scrapbooking retreat,
Yes.
2 of your favorites.
Yes.
Not going to ask you to pick your favorite retreat that we host. That feels like a horrible...
I don't have one.
Yeah.
I love them.
So what would you say to someone who's only been here during the summer about what else we have to offer?
Oh man. You're not going to get better sunsets than you get during the winter. There's something unique and special about camp in all times of the year. So summer is when it's noisy. You can play down at the waterfront, going swimming and things like that. But in the fall and the winter, you just get to see different changes in nature. Nature comes closer to camp as things get just quieter. So like the other night, there was like 40 turkeys around camp. We even had sandhill cranes land on the campsite. And so nature just kind of comes closer during those other seasons. But we have something for everyone, for every age. So we have crafting retreats. We're doing one soon with wood carving, of where people can just learn different skills. We have outdoor education days or homeschool days where we've had groups coming out this year. So I just say there's something different to experience in every season of the year.
Nice. So with your experiences here in different seasons, you've got to see a lot change here at camp.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a tremendous amount, because you were on staff before the Becker fire and that summer. What is something that you're happy that hasn't changed here at Camp Mac? Just thought of this question.
I know, right? I'm trying to think of some things that have changed.
Yeah.
So just to kind of bring you back to when I first started, my first summer, my first month was outside digging the post holes for where the bracing would go for the deck for the Mission Village yurts. So the yurts had been built the year before. The bathroom yurt had not been built yet. So we worked on just getting the beginnings of the decking my first summer here.
Nice.
So that's even changed a lot. Not changed. I think it's just some of those special moments at camp. Like, you can build any new building, but you're still going to have those special moments like morning watch or Vesper services where you have those opportunities to meet new friends here, to meet God. There's always opportunities to try new things and grow. So you can have different programs, you can have different buildings, but the vision doesn't change. The mission doesn't change. Like, we're here to meet with God, to just draw closer to creation, and just to meet new people. That doesn't change.
Nice. So you, being here as long as you have been, you've got to see a lot of campers grow up and grow in their faith. How have you grown in your faith by working here at Camp Mac?
I think I've grown most just by confidence of kind of coming in as someone who's very quiet and shy. I still need those quiet moments, but just, I'd say even in the quiet moments, like, I love seeing campers grow. I started getting my second generation campers. So my campers' kids started coming about 3 years ago, and I have a lot of them coming this year. And so getting to see campers' eyes open, or even adults' eyes open as they realize something new. But I think it can't just me for personal growth is those opportunities to share my faith with others, to, lead those times of prayer or worship, and just those quiet moments of connection. So during like our survivor camps or some of our more eco camps, we do times of sit spots where you're finding a quiet area to sit for 5 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour. And so I have my spots around camp that I go to frequently. And they're just kind of those thin spaces where you go and meet God.
Cool. So one place that a lot of people have seen you over the years is the waterfront.
Yep.
It's hard to imagine Camp Mac without the waterfront. But talk a little bit about why that's an important part of the summer camp experience here.
Yeah. We love giving kids opportunities that they may not have other places. And so not everybody grows up around a lake or a pond or a river where they get to experience swimming or playing in the water. They may have only ever been in a pool before. And so I love, especially the younger campers, seeing them build sandcastles, or you see them laying on their bellies in the shallow end and they come up with handfuls of shells that they're going to take home, which are going to smell the cabin up if they, tuck them in their shoe for later. But just seeing them experience different things. In our swim areas is one area that the sunfish like to make their nest. And so if the kids go under with their goggles, the sunfish will come up and bump them in the face, and so they just get to experience things. Same thing with boating. I grew up with both my grandparents having ponds. I grew up going canoeing or rowboating. I learned how to sail here at Camp Mac during colony camp. So boating was a big time during that family camp that I came to. And that's where I learned how to canoe, how to sail. My grandpa taught me how to sail. And so giving kids those opportunities to learn something new, and they get the chance to build on those skills. So our younger campers get to learn how to rowboat. It may be the counselors just taking them out to see the sunken barge or Rock Island and just getting comfortable on the water. They're learning how to wear a life jacket properly, how to pick out equipment that is sized properly. And then they can move up to canoes, which are a little less stable, but still very stable, very safe. And they can learn to go a little bit faster on the water. And we play games with the canoes. So we go out and play games of tag so they can learn how to turn quickly. Skills that they can use if we do a trip on a river. We teach kayaks to our older ones. So it gives them the chance to go out as an individual in a boat. And just, they can definitely speed along in those and just be a lot closer to the water while they're in there. And then sailboats are something that's just very special and unique to camp. Not a lot of places have those. And so it's teaching knot tying. It's teaching how to read the wind and just growing in confidence there. Same thing with the swim area. There's a lot of them that have maybe never swam before or had that opportunity. And so they're getting the opportunity to learn how to swim, to tread. Usually their counselors will help them on that, to take a swim test so they know that they're safe in deeper water. all being supervised. So they know it's a safer place. And so they have the dive raft, they can jump off of and have cannonball contest. They have a diving board, which is a little, a little bouncier than that, so they can practice that, or they can even use the water slide that we've had as they get older. So they just have different opportunities to learn and grow.
Fun. So this year our goal is to get a new summit.
Yeah.
Last year, hearing campers, they really missed it. Why is the summit so important to campers and to the Camp Mac experience?
Right. The summit just gives a different thing of adventure. And so it allows you to do different things. It's just a giant inflatable, very squishy. And so it has stairs up the back, not stairs that you can just, walk up. It's a pretty big reach. So it feels like you're climbing something pretty large. And then you get to speed down the slide, and so you get to sit on top and just see camp from a completely different view. You can see the whole swim area. And so for some kids, they will bound right up the summit. And it takes them about 3 steps and at the top. There's some of us, me included, who are not the biggest fan of heights. So I do it once a year, and that's a push. But it's still exciting when I get to the top. I absolutely love going down the slide. Or in the middle part, they can hang out, they can slide from side to side. A lot of them just sit in there and talk. Or there's also handles that they can swing out in the water. And so the summit was one that we chose years ago, as there's a lot of inflatables out there. But this one offered just a lot of different options that instead of like one person being able to use it at a time, we can have 12 people out there doing different things on it, whether it's climbing up it, sliding, being in the center part, hanging out with friends, or just bouncing around in the middle. And so it gave the most options of a lot of things that we saw out there.
Cool. So, as we talked, you've spent a lot of time here doing a lot of different things. Thinking ahead then, what are some of your hopes and dreams for the future of Camp Mac?
Right. I'm just looking forward as we diversify our guests that come here. I love all the guest groups that we serve, and so we serve a large number of campers through the camps that we run through the Church of the Brethren. But as we do more outdoor education and we're getting into the schools, we just get to see new kids coming here from different directions. One of the biggest satisfactions of working here is being able to work with like Indiana Deaf camps, with the Episcopals, with 4-H, with New Happenings, and all the groups that come here. And so that's the exciting part to come here, is just that people get to know this place as their sanctuary, as a place that they can come. And so it's just exciting anytime we get to introduce this to someplace new. I work a lot out in the wilderness area, so just control of the invasive species of plants, and just getting to do some more native plantings that diversify our wildlife out there. It's been exciting to see as we work on that. And, you get to see more turkey nest. Or, we have one area that we have weasel and mink. Just a healthy population. We have fox dens here at camp. Different owls. We have the barred owl nest here, but we heard screech owls for the first time last year. And so that's just exciting as far as to see what's next, that we just keep building, groups that are coming to get more people during the week, throughout the year, but just to give more people that outdoor experience.
Nice. Fun.
For my future goal, I'm going to make it longer than Mike Kaufman.
Awesome.
Halfway there.
Well, thank you so much for sharing some of your memories and for all you do for the mission and ministry of Camp Mac.
Thank you.